February 17th, mid-afternoon. I recall, I don't know, 3 o'clock maybe. My kids and I, we were going through Muldrough, and we went down, I think it's Carpenter Tent Road, heading toward Crystal Lake. It's a little side road. There's a fishing pond back there, and they call it Crystal Lake. And we were just passing the time driving through the woods. In fact, I was telling my kids that there was a murder there recently, and they found a body, and I mean that's not why we went back there, but we were just randomly talking and looking and stuff, and my boys were looking to the right and left, and my daughter was in the back. I have an extended cab pickup. She was sitting right in the middle, staring ahead, and I was obviously looking ahead. But we're creeping like 5-10 miles an hour down the road, heading, and we could see Crystal Lake. I don't know, it was probably 100 yards, maybe 75 yards ish. As soon as I looked up, I just saw this ginormous dark figure just flashing from, if I'm looking straight ahead, from my right to left, because basically the road ends at Crystal Lake. So the figure was there where we were heading, and it saw me coming down the dirt road, and it took off, and it was fast. And I thought maybe I just happened to see something, but before I could say anything, my daughter screams, "Oh my gosh, did you see that?" And I go, "You saw that too?" And she goes, "Yes, there's a humongous man down there. He's in all black, and he's bigger than you, Dad. I'm 6'2", 240 pounds." And he goes, "He's bigger than you," and he was fast. And he was standing there looking at us, and he just shot across the road. So she saw it more than I did. But I saw it on the very tail end as he was running. She said he was standing there kind of observing us, and then he started running. So she saw more than I did. We went down to the intersection, the T intersection to the pond, and I turned where we saw him go, and we didn't see anything after that. But I really questioned myself until my daughter saw it. She shouted something out before I did, and so both of us were kind of looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, there's something really big." And it was covered in black fur. And it was not a bear. If anything, it was a humongous man in a costume. If any, it wasn't a bear. I would believe a man in a costume before a bear. It was not a bear. It was a humanoid figure that was probably 7 feet, if not higher, and he was fast. That's about the legits of it. But it was creepy. I teach locally. I'm a coach. I know there's a stereotype of people coming out, or it's taboo for people saying these things. I don't want to be like, I have nothing to gain to say these things. I'm just being honest what I saw and what my daughter saw. So it was crazy.
Yeah. Well, you're one of the lucky ones. To see that. A lot of people search their entire lives and they never see it, and you guys got to see it. It's kind of like hitting the lottery, and that's a special memory you guys are going to remember for a long time.
Yeah. And I find that stuff very fascinating. I've watched the mystery shows and the things in the Pacific Northwest and what's going on, and I think there's definitely things out there that we can't explain, but it's just the wilderness is too vast, the universe is too vast for all of us to have all the answers for sure. But I also try to be rational, and I got to see things with my own eyes and try to understand things. That's how I process things, and I know what I saw. And it was a humanoid, humongous looking humanoid that was very fast. And my daughter saw it too. And we both were just staring at each other like, "Oh my gosh, that really just happened."
Was your daughter in the back seat or the front seat?
She was in the back seat. It's an extended cab, and she was kind of leaning forward because we were going really slow, and we were just kind of looking out at the windows and talking, and so we weren't driving down like a normal road. It was a small dirt road, and so I kind of let her lean up, so she had a very good view of it because my sons were kind of looking to their left and right. They were not paying attention. They were kind of just looking at doing their own thing, but me and my daughter were looking straight ahead. And like I said, she told me that she saw it standing there facing us. And then when it saw, because we were just coming around the corner, and when it saw us, then it turned and ran. And that's, like I said, that's when I got a glimpse of it. But I probably saw about 12 feet of it moving. She probably saw, well, from one side of a road to the next. So she got a good view of it. But that 12 feet, he was getting it. So I could see how they disappear quick.
Yeah. Your daughter, how old is she?
She's 8.
8, okay. Well,
she's young.
Yeah, I've interviewed young witnesses. I had a young girl here in Kentucky, over here in Anderson County. They're going to a birthday party, and it was a day where there was a lot of ice on the road and snow on the ground, so they're driving really slow, and she saw what she thought was a gorilla walking away from the road into a creek, and she told her dad about it, and her dad never did see it because he was driving, he wasn't looking that direction. But she was, I think, like 8 years old, and I took her report. Your daughter's not there, is she?
No, she's actually listening.
Can she tell her story, what she saw? Do you mind? Is that all right?
Yeah. Addie, come here. Her name's Addie.
Addie, okay.
All right. Addie, just kind of tell them what you saw.
So he was like looking straight, and he saw like the truck. So he was like he looked straight at me. So he ran off into the woods.
Wow, that's exciting. What did he look like?
He's tall, and he is very hairy and taller than my dad. Very fast.
Could you see his face?
No.
No. What color was he?
Brown.
Brown. Wow, that's exciting. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know how, and obviously, the innocence of a child. I mean, she's not the type of kiddo that will just come out and say stuff like that too. She's like, if she's, I believe her 100% because I saw it too. But I honestly probably wouldn't be talking to you if I just saw it, because I thought I would just kind of write it off as, hey, you know what? Maybe I was a shadow or something. It was, I would just write it off on something. But the fact that my daughter yelled out before I even made a reaction, just kind of like, whoa, I think we really saw something.
Yeah, what I love about that too, and I appreciate you letting your daughter share that, because it adds, more credibility when you have two witnesses, no matter the age. But what I liked about that, I asked your daughter, did you see the face? And she said no, which, again, adds to the honesty of her sighting, because if a young child was making something up, sometimes, they would embellish it and say, oh, yeah, I saw his face. It looked like a monster, or, stuff like that. But the fact that she said, no, I did not see the face, which makes sense because it was quite a ways away from you. Like, how far away would you say it was?
Well, I'm a football coach, and I'm trying to put it in perspectives of yards. I would say no longer than a football field. I'd say within 75 to maybe 90 yards. I mean, it was a good distance, but it was sunny. It was nice outside. It was clear. There was nothing. It was nothing obstructing our view. It was just straight ahead and this big, tall figure. I mean, you couldn't miss it if you were looking.
That's exciting.
But yeah, it was too far. It was too far to make out a face. I didn't. All I saw was the side of the body. Anyway, I saw the shoulder. I just remember massive shoulders. I mean, it was like top heavy big, like a bodybuilder. I mean, his chest and shoulders were massive, and the arm swing. I just remember seeing that arm swing, and that leg kick, and how fast it was. I mean, I even looked it up. I was like, how fast can a Bigfoot run? And it said 35 miles an hour. I'm like, I believe it, because it took off. And I know I didn't see it, a short distance, but I could just tell the way it was going. It was fast.
Yeah. And when you got up to the spot where it crossed, what was there? Was that forest? Was it a field? What was there where it crossed?
It was a opening like right around the pond. So, and they stocked that pond, so I know that's a water source, food source. But it makes sense to me. If it was there, it would be hanging out in that area. It was just like an opening. I looked out my window. I didn't see any tracks or anything, but it was like a higher grass, so it wouldn't even leave an imprint. It wasn't like nothing muddy. So even a 400-pound Bigfoot wouldn't make prints in that particular spot. It was just thick grass, and it was all laid over, so you wouldn't notice it. Because I was like, well, maybe there's a track or something, but I didn't see any.
So, I guess you assume it went into the woods somewhere near that pond, because you didn't see it.
Yeah, well, just visualize you're going down a trail, a dirt path, wide enough for a vehicle, and you got trees to your left and right. In the very end, there's an opening where you can see the pond, and it's like a T-bone intersection. And so it went to its right, it went to our left, that trail. So when I got to the end of the intersection where we saw him, I turned left where he went and followed the trail, and I saw some some old mattresses, some people threw out there, some garbage, nothing out of the ordinary. But I didn't go too far. I didn't know. I mean, I got my kids with me, and I didn't want to go, jumping into any trouble. I didn't know what was back there, but I just kind of looked around and didn't see anything. But the trail was, like I said, it was a path that wouldn't make any imprints whatsoever. I was hoping he ran through some mud or something and would leave some footprints, but he didn't.
Yeah. So you stayed in your vehicle and just drove around a bit?
Yeah, I did not get out. I rolled my window down, and it was like kind of looking out, looking down, and just going real slow, and just kind of looking behind trees and whatnot. And I didn't want to, like I said, with my kiddos, I didn't want to get out and explore too much.
Did you hear or smell anything?
No, we didn't smell anything. I know there's apparently they smell really bad. I didn't smell anything. I didn't hear anything. I know that sometimes they like to throw rocks and, mess with people. Nothing like that. Nothing. I mean, the fastest he was running, he was probably a half a mile down the path by the time I got there. He was gone. So I don't think he was there to stick around.
Right. Were your boys excited once they found out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they were kind of like, what you saw, and they were kind of jealous. They were like, I wanted to see that, where did you see him? And they were, and I was pointing, I was like, right there. And, in fact, I recorded a video and kind of described my story as we were pulling out. Do you want me to send that to you?
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, when I'm in the truck, yeah.
Oh, my God, that would be fantastic. I can add it to this.
Well,
awesome.
it doesn't show anything, but it gives you a visual of what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Wonderful.
Okay.
I am thrilled. I am so thrilled you came forward to share this, because I'm 100% believer. I know they're here. I've interviewed so many credible witnesses I can't even begin to tell you. The other thing I want to mention is, what is that county that this is in?
Meade. It's Meade County.
Meade County, okay, yeah. A lot of Bigfoot reports around in Meade County, and Ohio County is nearby, and is it Hopkins County? I'm thinking, or
Hopkinsville,
Hancock County.
Yes.
Right,
yeah.
You're down that way. Yeah. A lot of reports all through there, and I'm trying to remember. There's a lake, and it might be this lake, where there's been multiple Bigfoot sightings at that lake. And I got to go back through my records. It's been many years. It might be that pond.
Well, if you go down Dixie Highway through Muldrough, you can see it from the highway. It's like, to get to it, though, you have to kind of go up and around. I think it's 1638, and then turn down Carpenter's, what did I say? Carpenter's, what's it called, babe? Tent Road. I think it's Tent, I believe. And it turns into a dirt road. And, again, it's not a lake, but they call it Crystal Lake. But the whole, going back there was we were just bored, and we just wanted to get out in nature and just kind of explore. And I was telling them about, they found a guy floating face down in that little pond just a couple months ago. And in fact, I even saw they have a wanted sign stapled up on a post at the pond. It's like, if you have any information about this man, because I think it's like $10,000 reward. My wife has a picture of the poster, but he was found dead. I don't know if he was murdered.
I don't know how. Did they know how he was murdered, or how he died?
It says, for the public to help in identifying suspects or witnesses of the murder, was found dead in Crystal Lake. He was found dead in that lake.
Yeah, I don't think it says how he was murdered, but they have classified it as a homicide.
Okay.
I'll send you the picture of I'll send you a picture of the one that sign as well.
Okay, perfect. And I'm sorry about the guy, passing away. I'm curious. I don't believe Bigfoots typically hurt people. But they would be defensive sometimes, or you might get one that had, with a bad temperament. You might come across one. And I don't know how that guy was murdered. I'd be curious to know if it was a gunshot, was it blunt force trauma, was it a drowning? Like, how do they know he was murdered? I guess. Yeah,
my guess, honestly, I think it had nothing to do with Bigfoot or anything. I think it probably was drug related. I remember because I talked to several coworkers one day about it, and my memory's not too good. It was a couple, like I said, several months ago. But one of my friends was saying, I think it was because it was drug related, and they beat him up and killed him or something like that. I don't think it was anything suspicious like Bigfoot or something smashing his skull in or anything like that.
Right.
I think it's just a coincidence.
Yeah. Okay.
That he was killed there.
All right. Well, because some people will jump to that conclusion sometimes, and we really can't do that.
Sure.
If we're able to get the police report and see, was it blunt force trauma, was it a broken neck, that might make you think it was Bigfoot. But if it's, different types of injuries, like, that might point to a person, we just don't know.
I'll send you the information, and maybe you can dig something up and find out how he died. It just says that he was murdered. Okay. And, that, I don't know, that might just be a dead end, but you never know.
Yeah, I'll try to investigate that. Now, that was only a week ago, right?
Yeah, 17th.
So I wonder, I have a friend of mine who's a researcher. He does research down there. I need to let him know where this was, and maybe he might go look for tracks or something.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt, and I try to think, like I said, practically and objectively. I'm like, okay, he's a very large animal. He's probably not by himself. He's going to have to sustain a large food supply. But he's got to basically hide in plain sight. That would be ideal. He's right. The woods, that's all Fort Knox government woods territory. No one can build on it. It's a perfect place. It's where all the tanks used to train, but they all went to Fort Benning. There's hundreds of acres out there, but they are right next door to resources. I mean, there's, like I said, water and plenty of food. And heck, if they wanted to scavenge for human food of some kind, they would not have a hard time, because people, leave stuff back there all the time. So, I mean, they literally could hide in plain sight in that area.
You know what? I'm totally confused. Meade County, I'm actually thinking of another county. I don't know why I spaced out. That is not by, Meade County is nowhere near Ohio County or Hancock County. I'm thinking of whatever it is, Butler County. I'm totally thinking of the wrong county. Meade County, I'm very familiar with. Now that you mentioned Fort Knox, I've got reports all along and in Fort Knox. And fact is, in Meade County, I spoke at a library, and there's a gentleman in the audience that came up to me after the library presentation and said he was like a wildlife resource officer for Fort Knox. And he told me that he's got some stories to share, but I was running late to meet friends for dinner, so I gave him my business card, and he must have got cold feet. I never did hear from him, but I should have stayed and listened to him, because he had reports from Meade County. But yeah, I've got reports all through there. Meade County, Dixie Highway. If you take Dixie Highway towards, I think it's 44 that cuts through by Knob Creek Gun Range. You go back that way towards Shepherdsville. I've got reports all through there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I mean, that would be an ideal place. And like I said, there's so much wooded area, and there's Otter Creek, the fresh water that runs through there, and I would just say that, Fort Knox, when the tanks left, all that acreage is not used, and to me, that would be a place to basically hang out and live. So I wouldn't be surprised that you've heard other people say it. I mean, Meade County is west of Knox, and then you have Hardin County that's south of Knox, and then you have Jefferson County, which is Louisville, north of Knox. But on the west, and like you said, West Point, going into Bullitt County, it wouldn't surprise me at all that there's people seeing stuff
all around there. I can't even begin to tell you how many reports. Fact is, if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a deathbed confession of a sergeant who unfortunately killed 4 Bigfoot on Fort Knox, that I interviewed him, same way we're doing right here on my phone, and my app was on. I didn't know my app was on at the time. It was a different app, and I recorded the whole conversation. It's on my YouTube channel. I think it's called Fort Knox Deathbed Confession, and he told me I can share that once he passes away. He had terminal cancer, but that's why he shared it. He wasn't supposed to share it because he signed non-disclosure. He wasn't supposed to talk about it. And,
he killed a Bigfoot?
Yeah, they killed 4 of them on Fort Knox. Yep.
Oh my gosh! So why is it covered up?
Well, we don't know, but there's lots of speculation of why government covers it up. One could be because they've killed some. That could be one reason they cover it up. And it could be because they're protecting the forest. They don't want to scare people. We don't know why. And I'm again, it's speculation that they're covering it up. But he had to sign non-disclosure not to talk about it. But he only had about a year to live, and he wanted to get it off his chest.
It didn't surprise me, man. I mean, it didn't surprise me at all because, I've heard a lot of stories, and I'm not to get into detail, but they do hide a lot of things, and that didn't surprise me at all.
There's reports there by Fort Duffield. There's reports. There was one I took in Meade County. It was right after the fireworks went off, and there's a line of cars going back to this baseball field or where there was these fireworks, and all the smoke from the fireworks were blowing over to this patch of woods, and the cars were all backed up sitting there, and a Bigfoot walked out of the woods, walked right between 2 cars, and the entire family saw the Bigfoot walk between the cars.
Wow.
That was in Meade County.
That's a hotbed, man. I'm telling, because I know what I saw. I mean, I know my daughter. I know my daughter very well, and obviously, and she doesn't just make stuff up. And for her to validate what she saw, and I mean, and what I'm hearing, what you're telling me, I'm like, man, that's definitely got to be a hotbed in that area for sure.
Yeah. In fact, of course, my wife's here listening too. She's into Bigfoot research. I need to talk her into going there this weekend, maybe at some point, because we're going to be down that way. We're visiting my family. If I could talk her into it, I'd like to go over there and look around, but we'll see.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, one might stick its head out and say hello. You never know.
Well, 2 weeks, that's recent. I always say a recent Bigfoot report is within a year. If it happens within a year, to me, that's a recent sighting. As opposed to the ones that are, a decade old, et cetera. So this is very recent, only a week ago. I don't know. Maybe I'll see if I have time to drive over that way. We'll see. But listen, I really, really appreciate you sharing this story, letting your daughter talk, and then you sending me this video that you took and that picture. This is fantastic. You made my night.
Well, I mean, the story needed to be told. People don't need to be afraid of, sharing what they see. I mean, I know what I saw, and I know, she knows what she saw, and I think people need to know. So, my son, he has a cell phone. He's the one that actually looked you up. He just started researching Bigfoot around Fort Knox or Kentucky, I believe, and your website popped up, and he was like, "Hey, let's enter our story, Dad." And he's the one that filled it out as I was driving home. So that's how you got my information.
Tell him thank you.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll tell you one more report I took right there off of Dixie Highway. If you're going back kind of towards Louisville, and when you get to 44, that you can go right on 44 to Bullitt County. There's a liquor store that's there, and there's
Hot Pink.
I think yes, that liquor store.
Yeah.
And it was early morning before the sun came up. There was a mother and daughter sitting in a car in that parking lot, waiting to meet either her husband or something. And they were sitting there, and right across the street, there was a security light and a field kind of behind that big concrete dam thing that's along Dixie Highway.
Yep.
There's a big field back there. They watched 2 dogs come running out, and they watched the dogs run, and then they watched the Bigfoot walking behind the dogs.
It's crazy.
Yeah, right there.
Y'all need to probably start camping out in that area, because it sounds like there's a big family.
Yeah, I can tell you story after story. It's a really good area, and what I'm excited too is you're a very credible witness, and here you're adding more data on my map, which just confirms that they're real and they're in Kentucky.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I wish we get to a point where, it's an accepted species and everybody just, gets on the same page. There's something holding all this up, and like you said, we don't really know why, but I mean, there's too many people seeing things, you know what I mean?
I agree.
So
I agree.
But,
and you said you're a school teacher and a coach?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I was both as well. I coached football, my son Pee Wee football. Then I was a school teacher too for 20-some years. So.
Oh wow. You picked up a cool hobby.
Yeah, I took it up a long time ago, and well, I'll let you go. I know you got to spend time with your family, and if you don't care to send me that video and that picture, I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Okay, yeah, will do. I'll send those right now.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Talk about our purpose.
Oh, here.
You're the main.
So this is the spot where the Bigfoot crossed, and he said he was driving very slow, and if it crossed here, he didn't see it when they got here. So the thing had to be going fast. If it was a person and you pulled up here, you would see a person walking away, obviously. A Bigfoot going that rate of speed could have easily got over this hill back here or into the woods. But do you see that track there, David? Look, so Zach found a track earlier when we were doing the reenactment. You see it right there? You saw it, didn't you? What's what Zach saw? No, watch. Zach saw something here.
Right here. The toe. And it's too wide though, and it's not sunk down deep enough. No?
Well, there's another one that he saw. Is that it? Oh, right here. Come here. Look at this. Come over here. Don't let the dog get here. This is a big toe. This whole thing flat. It's kind of flat. You can see a little bit of an impression, but that would be the big toe and some of the toes coming down this way.
It's hard to tell, you know.
Right, so
Okay. So this is the area where the Bigfoot could have went, and Zach found this partial, well, impression, but we don't know for sure. It goes like this. It's the heel, and then up here would be the big toe, so maybe toes. So this whole thing, and if you put my foot by it, and I got size 13s, it's well larger than my foot. But again, it's really hard to tell from that. It could be just the water. There's another one up here, and this is too close for that one, but my brother found it looked kind of like a toe, you know. But again, you got tire tracks, you got water. This is from the tire tracks. So you can't tell if that's a foot or not, but we're gonna keep looking. This is my foot next to it. This is size 13. That's my brother whooping, by the way. So whatever this is, crossed over, kind of crossed across this trail a little bit. There's a few of these impressions, they're about 13 inches, 12, 13 inches. There's my brother and Zach. We've been searching these roads, the soft areas, the tracks. Are you blind? I think she's blind. You guys find anything? It's a great area. Oh, the Knox? All right, here. Dave, you try some.
ricochet.
I don't care, just pick a tree. Do 3 though. You can do this small tree too. It's windy. The next one, yeah, that one too. Yeah, do that one. What's that? Whoop! That was me. That was me. Yeah. Silly dog.
There you go.
Okay, I'm gonna make a whoop and knock. Whoop! I'm gonna do another one. Here we go. Whoop! So my dog hears something right now. She's barking. Come here. What is it? Come here. Come here. So my dog just growled and barked at something, and I heard movement. So I tried a few knocks. There's the pond behind us, or the lake. That's the lake, sorry. There's this gas line cut right through here that goes alongside the lake, which a lot of people believe they travel the power line cuts and the gas line cuts because it's the path of least resistance. It's quiet in the evenings. It's an easy way for them to move. So we're going to search it for tracks. Maybe make some knocks up here. That's my brother whistling. And the ground is pretty hard. Like if I step right here and I put my weight on it, I barely see it. It's very hard. Check this area for tracks down by this little creek. That was my brother doing a tree knock. I'm pretty sure. Let's listen. Maybe we'll get a reply back. My brother doing tree knocks. Whiskey, stop. Come here. Stop. Stop. No. Stop. Stop. That's my brother doing that. Again, he's knocking right now. Rub. You can hear the trees rubbing up there. Why did you stop? Why did you stop?
Huge valley. I tripped over this rock.
Oh, I see why you stopped. All right, so you stay here. You watch this ridge. Okay, Zach.
It's base camp.
This is base camp. Zach, you ready?
Yep.
All right, come on. We're going on this trail.
Taking the dog with you?
Yep. All the leaf cover. It's hard to get tracks because of the leaves. track there. See that? Don't let the dog come over here. Can you see that going this way? Like this, the toes would be this way. Can you see what I'm seeing? Here, move out of the shadow a little bit. Scoot over, go over here. Go over there and look at it. Right, and the heel would be down there, kind of. Oh no, I'm just, don't see. Oh no. It looks a little matted there, doesn't it? Like it's pushed. Pressed down. The thing with tracks, you know, a lot of times pareidolia gives you the impression, no pun intended, that it looks like a track, and it could just be water or something else. All right, let's keep going.
He's walking up this hill getting a real strong scent of wet dog. I don't think it's whiskey.
Try a couple knocks and do 3 knocks up here. I saw this when I walked up. What is, oh, watch out, baby. What is this right here? Move. I know. Move. Stop. She thinks I'm playing. Move. All right. This here. Oh, they're like mushrooms. See them? Some kind of mushroom. Let's see. Yeah, it's like a mushroom or something. Fungus type thing. All right, let's keep going. Here's a reward poster talking about the gentleman that unfortunately died here. His body was found in the lake. It's an ongoing investigation, so we don't know how he died.